Good afternoon. Thank you, Mark. It's good to be with you here at the New York Auto Show, and I love coming back here, and I love coming home to New York. I'm John Bozzella, President and CEO of Alliance for Automotive Innovation. We represent the auto industry. Yes, the iconic manufacturers that design and build the great cars you see all around the show, but also tech companies, self-driving software companies, and new entrants to the space. So let's talk about EVs. I've been in this business for about 25 years, and I've never worked at a moment of such promise and excitement for personal transportation. Zero carbon, electrified propulsion, automation and connectivity, changing use and ownership models. We are living through a technology revolution that will transform personal mobility, rewrite supply chains, and ensure economic and national security in fundamental ways. Let me spend a couple of minutes, as Mark said, talking about what happened last week. I know we're going to get into this more during the panel. The Environmental Protection Agency and the Biden administration finalized some very consequential emissions rules for model years 2027 through 2032. Effectively, the rules target 50% EV sales by 2030 and even more by 2032. Very ambitious and daunting targets. There's no sugarcoating that. But automakers are committed to the EV transformation. We're investing enormous amounts of capital and building cutting-edge battery electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, traditional hybrids, and fuel cell vehicles that convert petroleum miles to electric miles. Tons of choices to just look around and take a ride. I said when the Biden administration started this process that I'd be a thorn in their side. What I said was you need to slow the pace of the rules, and they did. Why? Because they saw what was happening in the market. A choppy EV retail environment, still growing, but spiky, inadequate public charging, uncertain grid capacity, supply chains that still need to be built, and the specter of China. Incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act that need more time to kick in, all while preserving a customer's ability to choose the vehicle that works for them and their family. We've got to remember the customer always. So moderating the pace of EV adoption in 2027, 28, 29, 30 was the right call. But the rules are last week's story. Now we've got to focus squarely on the future and the conditions necessary for a successful and sustainable transition to EVs. Despite the momentum, we're at a challenging stage. We've more or less exhausted, as you heard Elizabeth say, the supply of early adopters and haven't convinced all the easy adopters, the folks with a second or third car and a garage in their home. So we've got to continue to work with the customer. Is it time to panic? No. This is just the beginning of a technology revolution that will transform the entire economy and society. Look, we've seen it before. The Industrial Revolution gave way to steam and railways, gave way to steel, gave way to the oil and automobile ages, and now we're squarely in the digital and information age. And the connected, intelligent, autonomous electric vehicles we're building reflect this convergence. Think about other disruptions and disruptors in our own lifetime. Intel and the microchip in 1971. Amazon and retail in 1994, Netflix and content delivery and now streaming starting in 1997, and Tesla and automaking in 2003. None of these transitions are complete and will take decades to finally shake out. And what automakers are trying to do and governments around the world are requiring is hard, really hard, exponentially harder than what we've seen before. So there are some ambitious goals that policymakers have, and we can't assume everything's going to go perfectly. All of those conditions, charging, infrastructure, grid capacity, critical minerals, have to come into play and the jury is still out, but there is no question that the future is electric. This will happen. We, the auto industry and policymakers together, need to have a shared and realistic vision of success when it comes to automotive electrification. An approach that balances emissions reductions and maintaining our industrial base and American prosperity and competitiveness. Set it and forget it will not work. Not for this. There's too much at stake. Our cutting edge auto sector, our economic security, our national security, to set the course just on hope. Thanks, and I look forward to the discussion.